Hello, everyone, and welcome back to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piroworski, coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. 2A views, conservative news, and Craig, guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's that day.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
It's hump day.
Hump day!
It's hump day.
Hump day!
Haha. That's right, folks. Today is hump day. This is the day in which we attempt to begin the weekend, sometimes with success, sometimes not. But as we always like to say, the fun is in the trying.
Exactly. It's also the day, Craig, we celebrate AFC Richmond's second place in the Premier League and promotion to the Champions League next season. So,
second place in the Premier League. Is this a Ted Lasso reference?
No, AFC Richmond. AFC Richmond.
Very nice, very nice. I honestly do not follow European football, or better known as soccer. Is that actually a real team?
It's the football.
Is it the real football team?
Football is life. No, Richmond is not. Richmond is the team that's not the real team. Every other team you've seen in there is. Richmond is the fictitious team.
Got it. Okay. Well, that's always good to know. It's always good to know who the fakes are.
Yep.
Anyway, sir, so did you get a chance to watch the I guess it's the series finale now of Ted Lasso?
Yep. Very good, very rewarding, very good program. And sorry to see it go, but you know what? That's what happens these days. You know, it comes, it goes.
Well, it does, but you know, I know a lot of people were ragging on it this season, but I don't know. I still felt it to be just as enjoyable. I very much enjoyed the show. I didn't get why people were so angry and upset about the show.
Listen, the first two seasons were 10 episodes a season, and they were about 45-minute episodes. This season got to about the fifth show, maybe even the sixth, and you were like, there's no way they're going to finish this up. There's way too many story ends if they're going to finish this up. So they extended it to 6 shows, and we're doing them an hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes the last 4 or 5 shows. So they basically added, well, maybe have only added 4 or 5 shows, but they did like 6 shows worth of content. So I think they got everything wrapped up nicely. I think it was a nice, good feeling when it finally ended.
Fun program, like the way they handled it. It will. My attitude is that they did like I wish more shows would do. They actually went out on top.
Right, and that's what this one did. Yeah, they definitely barbecue sauce on the way out. Yeah,
barbecue sauce on the way out. All right, well, hey, let's go ahead and get into today's show. Before we do, let's give a shout out to our sponsors.
Yep, let's say hello to our good friends over at Hitman Industries. That's hitmanindustries.net. Hitmanindustries.net. Now you can buy AR barrels in rifle and pistol calibers, and both any length, both rifle length and pistol length, whatever length you want, at hitmanindustries.net. And soon to come, Glock barrels for your Glock firearms. The California Republican Assembly, a good fight behind enemy lines. Make sure you reach out to them and help make California a better place, especially in the 6th U.S. Congressional District there in California. Hog Holsters, HAWGholsters.com. You can get yourself the best tactical concealed holsters on the market. Use the discount code RUNDOWN, one word, no spaces, all caps. Again, that's Hog Holsters, HAWGholsters.com. And if you want some awesome field gear, some camping gear, hiking gear, go on over to uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. These are our sponsors. They bring us to you so that we can bring you to them. So do us a favor, do them a favor, do yourself a favor. Go ahead and visit their website. The links are in the description to this program. Check them out. If you like what you see, spend some money with them, and I guarantee you'll like what you see. And make sure, by the way, that when you spend that money, make sure you let them know that it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also want to remind you, if
That's
you
us.
haven't already done so, please remember, like, share, subscribe, like, share, subscribe. Let your friends know about the program. Let them know how you partake and the many, many, many ways in which they can partake, whether it's listening to the audio version, however you get your podcasts, or watching us wherever you watch a video podcast. But wherever you watch us, we don't really care how you partake. All we care is that you partake.
That's right. Orally, intravenously, however you get us. Yep.
There you go. Just, put us in a bowl and smoke us. However you want to do it.
Get your pipe and smoke it. Yeah.
Okay, Mike, this first story here is, you and I, Mike, we go back and forth about Popeyes and Chick-fil-A. And as you have said that Popeyes is the devil's chicken and Chick-fil-A is the Lord's chicken. And, there's a major question going on right now regarding the Lord's chicken and whether or not the Lord's chicken has gone woke. And there actually are folks who are actually pushing for a protest of Chick-fil-A. And what they're claiming is that, because they now are pushing DEI, or diversity, equity, and inclusion, and they actually have a diversity, equity, and inclusion page on their website, people are trying to say that they're going woke. They're doing all of the racial equity, yada 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 stuff. They actually have a director of diversity, equity, and inclusion. In fact, I'll read a little bit of the story here. News of Chick-fil-A having a vice president of diversity, equity, and inclusion (DEI) has some conservative groups calling for a boycott. The fast food giant has been a favorite among many over the years, due in large part to its religious roots and sporadic financial support of anti-LGBTQ organizations. But a previous announcement of Eric McReynolds, VP DEI, who has been with the company's DEI segment since 2020, has some claiming the company has gone woke. Now, Mike, far be it for me to disparage the Lord's chicken. First of all, what are your thoughts on this whole thing?
You say you and I have gone back and forth on the Lord's chicken and Popeyes, the devil's chicken. I just want to say I've been steadfast in my stance with the Lord's chicken. I've had no back and forth. Craig, this is a reach by the left, a complete reach by the left to try and take light off of some really, really, really bad publicity for what's been going on with LGBT and everything else when it comes to say Bud Light, the Dodgers, Target, Ford. Everybody seems to be trying to find the right way to include, but the only thing they seem to be coming up with is ways to fail miserably. We'll get into that on the next story, but this I think is just deflection. This is trying to get look what Chick-fil-A did. Remember they're the guys that are supposed to be pro God and anti-gay and anti-LGBT, which is not the case, Craig. When you read DEI, right, diversity,
Equity.
It's equity. I'm sorry, diversity, equity, and inclusion. When you use those words and you actually take the meaning and not without the bastardization and what they've become to the left, it's there's nothing wrong with that. Chick-fil-A has said, listen, we're going to stay closed on Sundays. We're going to honor military personnel here. We're going to have our fallen hero table. We're going to be pro-Christian. And if you want to work here and you happen to be an LGBT person, you're included. We recruit everybody to come work here.
Well, Mike, you made a good point. It's something we talked about before. The reality is that, one, they haven't changed their policies. They haven't said that we're inserting, anti-racism training. They haven't said that they haven't said that they're planning on having critical race theory based programs taught to their employees. What they've said is that we want to make sure that everybody, that every person, no matter of their race, no matter of their religion, no matter of their gender, that, hey, if they want to be a part of Chick-fil-A, we want to make sure that they know they have an opportunity to. As long as you're going to be a good employee. And, one of the things that they talked about was, they want to make sure that, their company is diverse in terms of employment. Now, they didn't say we're just going to go out and find people of color and we're just going to hire them. What they said was, we're going to make sure that we are recruiting places where all people are so that we get applicants from all over. And, when you have a diverse applicant pool, when you hire the best, not based on race, but when you hire the best, guess what you're also going to get? You're going to get a more diverse group of employees. And that's all they're saying. And I don't see anything wrong with that. I think that you're right. I didn't think of the idea that, this is something being put out there, largely being pushed by the left. And a few, how do I want to put this? I don't want to call them extreme, but first of all, if Twitter is the place where you're looking and you're like, oh my God, that's where the criticism is coming from. Of the millions of people that are out there, you're going to get a few extremists on Twitter. I'm sorry, but you are. I don't see any organizations out there, any significant organizations out there saying, hey, or any significant conservative figures out there saying, hey, we need to check Chick-fil-A.
Nope, not a one. And like I said, they're doing that recruiting out there, Craig. They'll look at applications. Now, I know one thing they haven't changed is their uniform standards and policies. If you are identify as something different and want to wear blue hair and the opposite sex clothes, you're not going to be able to do that. It's our job. It's our uniform. You're going to wear the clothes that were assigned to you at birth, for your sex that was assigned
the clothes that were assigned at birth.
That'd be somewhere else. That's like 70s clothes. But and
you mean their birthday suit?
Yes. They basically have the same uniform standards and rules for hair and grooming that Disney World used to have before they went woke.
Yeah, exactly. Mike, I just wanted to make sure to include this story because I want to let people know these are the nasty games that the left will play. But here's the thing, folks. Chick-fil-A is the same company it's always been. Check them out. They have a page here. Look, here's their DEI page. Go there and check it out. I will say this. They probably jumped the shark in that they should have never really used the term diversity, equity, and inclusion because diversity and inclusion, I'm all for. Equity, I have an issue with because they never really apply it that way. In many cases, it's applied just based on race. But in the end, Mike, the words themselves do not mean what they mean anymore. When you put them together in that, it means anti-racism, wokeism, and I think that's what's triggering some folks.
And I think it's probably the same way that you and I view the word common sense or the term common sense, Craig. That word, that common sense term has been bastardized by the anti-gun, to believe that the only common sense you can have is to take everybody's guns away. That way nobody will have guns, right? And where you and I know that common sense is allow the law-abiding to have their firearms so they can protect themselves against the criminals that refuse to turn in their firearms.
Right.
So
exactly.
Common sense on the left means something completely different than it does on the right. The same thing that DEI does with people on the right and left. You go by the actual definition of the words. Not a bad thing. You use the bastardized usage of it that the left uses. It's a bad thing.
Well, and that's why it's hard to have an actual conversation with the left because they have changed definitions of so many different things. And so you don't really know what you're talking about or defending against, and you don't know exactly what it is that they're supporting. And it's because their goal is to confuse you so that they can lie to you.
Yep.
All right.
That's it.
Moving right along. Our next story has to do with another accusation of wokeness. Well, not another, just a group of, how do I want to put it this way? It has to do with a couple of different companies. And that has to do with Target and Bud Light. And now Target and Bud Light right now are both suffering financially because of decisions that they have made. With Target, it had to do with them putting it's two things. One, putting their Pride line of clothing during Pride Month, putting it up at the front of the store, regardless of the demographics of the community that the store is in. I think that was probably mistake number one. But then number two, partnering with a clothing manufacturer that is actually also promotes a line of Satanist clothing. with including T-shirts that says "Satan respects pronouns." Anyway, they've lost in less than a week, Mike. They have lost $12 billion worth of value in their company, right? At the and then at the same. Well, let me pull it up here. I was just looking at it. Here we go. There we go. Target. This is right here is from. This is from Fox News. It says Target may have lost control of the narrative as financial losses, LGBT anger mounts, and consumer researchers, according to consumer researchers. Now, what's really hurt them is kind of twofold. First, they did it, and then conservatives came out and said, "Nope, not going to shop there anymore. Don't want you pushing that agenda," right? By the way, that included swimsuits for children where they can tuck away their stuff. We'll just call it stuff, but they can tuck away their stuff in their female swimsuit. But then they came and they met and they were like, "Yeah, we can't handle this backlash. Let's move it to the back of the store." And so now the community that they were supposedly coming out in support of. Now they're mad at them. So now they're not shopping there. So the people that they did it for, and the people that they did it that were angry at them, basically both have said, "Yeah, no, we're done." And investors have answered by just saying, "You know what? Nah, we're not gonna buy your stock. We see where you're headed. You know what direction you're headed? The same direction as Anheuser-Busch. That's right, Anheuser-Busch right now is they're facing almost junk stock status. It says right here, they're heading, right, it says Anheuser-Busch stock enters bear territory amid anti-trans Bud Light backlash. Imagine, Mike, imagine this. Imagine if one of their biggest sellers at Target was actually happened to be Bud Light.
They do sell Bud Light there at Target, so it's like a double whammy on Target there, right there. So.
Someone, a guy, Mark Freeman, who I actually know from here in Sacramento, actually made a comment, and he said the reason why companies are doing stuff like this, and this was interesting because I actually was listening to this on the Ben Shapiro show earlier. What's happening is that there's this worldwide movement to push companies to get what's called an ESG score, or it's environmental, safety, and governance score, right? And if you get a low score, so it's like, okay, basically it's a woke score, all right? How much are you in line with climate change policy? How much do you promote equity and inclusion? In other words, how much do you support critical race theory? How much do you push gender and queer theory? All of this other stuff, I mean, all of that is included in this score. And if you don't get a good score, you are dinged. You're dinged by, like, for example, NASDAQ. And what happens is that there are people in these institutions that then ding your stock and wind up in the end devaluing your stock because you don't get a good ESG score. And so a lot of these companies are doing this stuff because they're thinking, well, I don't want to lose stock value, so maybe I got to go a little woke. But what they're finding is the ESG value, their ESG score is not nearly as important as the public perception score.
Right, because that's where your sales come from, is from the profits, or from the public sales, right? That's where your profits come from. So, it's, Craig, at some point, someone has to sit around and say, what are we doing? This is yet to be successful anywhere. We need to stop doing this. I mean, did the people in Target for the last month were they unplugged while in the boardroom, inside a vacuum there in the boardroom, not watching what was going on at Bud Light, and still decided, hey, the kids junk hiding bathing suits for trans Satan lovers, let's put that up front. And they thought that was a good idea. They couldn't watch across the street and see what was going on at Anheuser-Busch and think, hey, this sounds like something we should get into.
Well, clearly because their company was worth too much money. I mean, how that must have been what they're saying. We're making too much money. we probably need to bring down our profit, our stock shares, the value of them, devalue them a little bit. And I guess that's what they came up with.
Yeah. Yeah. It makes more sense than anything else we've heard before. Right?
Well, and here's the thing, folks. And someone asked me, they said, well, so in other words, you're saying that because they took one position that the companies ought to not exist? No. What I'm saying is that you need to understand that people in general don't want their grocery store, they don't want their soda, they don't want their beer pushing controversial agendas, right?
Right.
Provide beer. That's it, right? Let me go and let me buy stuff from your store. I don't need you lecturing me, lecturing my family on all of this crap, on all the stuff that in particular I don't believe. Because once I get to the point that that enough of us are just sick and tired of it, we're going to say no. And so you got to make examples of people. There's no way to boycott. If we boycotted every corporation that did stupid stuff like this, we'd never be able to go shopping. We couldn't even be online right now. Because that's how woke corporations have gotten. But having said that, it's important to pick out specific examples and send a message. And when you send that message, you let the other companies know, look, we could be next, so let's not.
Yeah, that's as clear enough explanation as you get, folks. That's go woke, go broke. That's it. There's your formula.
Wonder, you saw what was funny is because the NBA lost viewership when they were going through it. The NFL lost viewership when they were going through it. You're going to keep an eye on the Los Angeles Dodgers. They're probably going to be giving away some tickets here pretty soon. And even that whole thing, man, that has nothing to do with LGBTQ. That has to do with a group that the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, who openly mock and ridicule a specific faith, the Catholic faith. And that should not, people who do that should not be honored. You notice the people didn't have I won't say they didn't have an issue. There was no call for outrage with any of the other pride groups. It's specifically, though, they're like the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence. Yeah, they're the ones that were the major problem.
Yeah, and listen, I'm going to throw a lot of blame on the Dodgers there too, because they clearly did zero research before approving them to be part of the program. So
well, and once again, they approved it, then they pulled it back, then they approved it again. It's like, look, you've got to understand something. Take a position and stick with it, because all you've done now is piss off both sides. There was a guy here in Sacramento County who was running for Congress against the very same guy that I'm running against. He should have cleaned his clock. He would have cleaned his clock. He decided that he was going to endorse Donald Trump. He caught a bunch of flack for it and then withdrew his endorsement. Well, guess what? That pissed people off on both sides. And it was a really close race. He wound up losing. And I'm going to guess that there were enough people who would have voted for him, who were Trump supporters, who said, nah, you drop Trump. Or there were probably some Trump haters who, I would have voted for you, but you endorsed Trump. Right. I just think that, you know what? How about this? How about you focus on your core mission? In case of Bud Light, it's to sell beer, right? In the case of Target, it's to sell stuff. And leave the rest of it to someone else.
Nobody likes a flip-flopper. Go ask John Kerry.
No, nobody likes a flip-flopper. That there be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truthuses.
Or I guess LeBron also, he's a flopper.
He is a flopper. Is he a flip-flopper? I mean, does he flip and then flop?
He's just a flopper. Yeah.
He's just a flopper. Okay. All right. All right. Our next story, we've got, our good friend Gavin Newsom is out there in the news because he decided that he was going to put out a meme, right? Now, think about it. It's Memorial Day, right? On Memorial Day, we honor those who have given the ultimate sacrifice for our country. And so he decides that rather than send out a meme saying, or send out a picture saying, thank you to all of those who sacrificed for our nation, he decides to send out this. Now, for those of you who are just listening, it's a little kid who is standing on a ladder. He's reaching up to try and reach books that are up on a top shelf. In the meantime, there are a number of 3 handguns and 2 rifles, none of them actually very assaulty looking, hanging on the wall. I guess this was his big push to talk about guns, although we don't allow guns in schools in California. I don't know exactly what his exact messaging was here. But in the end, he's catching a lot of grief for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to find some of those, whatever those hooks are that hold those guns to the wall. Those are pretty cool. I like the way they hold them. So I got to get some of those. Put them over by my bookshelf. This guy's just so out of touch. I mean, let's see. I want to take a shot at Florida. I want to take a shot at DeSantis. I want to take a shot at their gun policy. I want to take a shot at their book burning. And in doing so, I'm going to anger pretty much every veteran or family that's had somebody lost, or they know somebody that's been lost in battle. I'm just going to do that whatever I want, because you know what? I'm Gavin Newsom. I can do what I want. I don't have to pay attention to anybody else.
Well, Mike, I have a message for Mr. Gavin Newsom, and I think we're going to make this one a regular for the program.
Got something for you. Got something for you there. Mussolini.
That was a fun one. That was one of the responses that someone posted on his Twitter feed. So I'm going to be using that one. Sorry for those of you who are just listening. I'm not even going to bother describing it for you. You should have been here. Should have been watching. Sorry. Don't know what to tell you. Go look for the program and see if you can find it. You'll get a chance to watch You'll get a chance to watch it. But that's how I feel about Gavin Newsom. He is the absolute worst as mayor. As governor. He ruined San Francisco when he was there. We're still in the midst of their 10-year plan, which I think is now in year 20, of ending homelessness in San Francisco. He's now tried to say we're going to redo San Quentin and actually make it a model place to do rehabilitation. That's the place where the death row is here in California. So, where nobody ever dies, where people never go to die.
Right. Yeah.
You have a better chance of dying if you get life in prison than if you get the death penalty. But by the way, he's also said we're going to be 100% electric, no fossil fuels by 2045. And you notice how he makes these big proclamations when he's not going to be around or be in office to verify to take the blame when we haven't reached those goals, but we've run the state into the ground.
Yep.
All right.
That's what he do.
Speaking of that, now, Mike, you remember when I think it was about 2 weeks ago, there was this big, huge hubbub, right, where they said that Disney is pulling out of a $1 billion investment in Florida, right? Because they're mad at Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis is, he's anti-LGBTQ plus. He's doing all this stuff with the children, and he's making life dangerous for people, and black people shouldn't come to Florida and all that, right? So they pulled a $1 billion investment out of, or they said they weren't going to be investing in Florida. We know better. But there's something that they didn't actually talk about. And that is the fact that there's still $17 billion that they're planning on investing in Florida, despite the argument that they are having with Mr. DeSantis. Now, Mike, you and I know that the one thing that they were talking about doing, they decided not to do it because they're already bleeding money because people are unsubscribing from Disney Plus. People are not buying their products. They're not going to watch their movies. They're finding, not to the degree that they were, we'll put it that way. They're bleeding money. And so they decided not to do this because financially they just couldn't afford it. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to do the other $17 billion. So much for principle, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's again, we know of the original lie, right? Oh, well, we're not going to build this $500 million or this $1 billion infrastructure there because of what Ron DeSantis has done. It was never on the table. It was one of them, hey, maybe in 2 years we'll examine and look into doing this. Listen, Disney is, I don't want to use a gun metaphor, but shooting themselves in the foot every day. I flew over Disney World today at 600 feet, 700 feet. All right, so you can look the visitors in the eye. There's nobody there. There's nobody in any of the parks. I mean, this is, a couple of years ago, packed every day. And now it's nothing, Craig. I mean, it's summertime here. East Coast is summertime. Everybody's already out of school. Nothing. There's nobody flooding to Disney. Nobody's going there.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you who is there. Do you know that now in their, I think it's the Fantasy Land, with the place where they send where the little girls can go and get all made up and look like a princess and all that. Well, now at least at Disneyland, they actually have, they've gotten rid of their gender, a lot of their dress policy. So you actually have a princess dressed up in makeup and the hair and the dress and the wig and all that with a mustache.
Yeah, and listen, I got to tell you, the parks are filthy as well. Disney used to be the cleanest, most manicured place on the world. Now it's like going to, your regular traveling carnival that comes to town. It's nothing special anymore.
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could find, because I know someone had, where is it at? There you go. Here, I'll pull it up here real quick. So this was, there you go. You can see the princess there with the mustache. And now imagine this. Now, by the way, most people around the world are not interested in this. So imagine you're taking your child, you just want to go to Disneyland, and now you've got to explain why the princess has a mustache.
Yeah, and that's why parents are not going there anymore. I mean, look around, look at the park there. That used to be the kind of place where it was packed. And then listen, I don't know, is that Disney? Is that it's okay? It says it's Disneyland.
That was Disneyland, so that's in Los Angeles.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, somebody get that guy a Bic razor.
Somebody get him a razor. And once again, I just don't understand why you feel the need to inflict to just ruin your bottom line like this. I think in their eyes, part of it is the whole ESG thing. But in the end, you got to realize that this is just, who is in your marketing departments that is telling you to do this stuff? You need to get them out. Well, let me make this back. So when we talk about socialists and wokedivism, when I said that they went into education, they went into higher institutions of learning like Yale, like Harvard, like Wharton, like all of these big, whether it's business schools, whether it's education schools, all these Ivy League schools, the people who are now running the marketing departments for these corporations, the people who are running the financial, they've all been wokedified. Right? They've all been educated into imbecility, and this is the sort of stuff that they are coming up with. And, the average person, the person who didn't go to Yale or Harvard or Columbia, are like, oh, heck no. Yeah. I'm not the one.
Nope. And it's going to hurt them. It's going to hurt families and values and everything else, because they're going to continue to try and bring it down. And, again, hopefully it's powerful enough on the right, on the conservative side, that we can show them they don't make a difference to us, and we will continue without them.
Well, and once again, and that goes back to, what I said before, is that, do I want these places to go out of business? No, I want them to get their act together, right? Sadly, the only way in which people, including corporations, learn is it's got to hurt. Stupid has got to hurt.
You're right. And like you said, you don't want to see it hit the family, but if it's got to hit the head of the household in the face, well, so be it.
Yep. Okay. Well, now we're going to move on to our parting shots, brought to you by Hog Holsters. Get your Hog Holster at hogholster.com. Make sure you use discount code The Rundown. All one word, all caps, no spaces. Get your Hog Holster today. All right, this first one was kind of interesting only because the reason why I wanted to show the dude with the mustache was for this reason. So here you've got the big, I guess it's the fat guy, you've got the bearded lady, and you've got the person with tattoos all over their body. And they're at the circus. And the ringmaster says, "I'm sorry, I have to let you go, but you're just not freaks anymore."
Yep, that's the truth. It's absolutely the truth.
Yeah, that's pretty much America today. I would say California, but California is not known for being obese.
Oh, they just don't go out a lot. You just don't see them. Yeah.
No. Okay,
It's
so
hard
you
for them to
remember
do.
I showed you, Mike, we showed you this picture in the very beginning, right? That's the one that's the meme that whatchamacallit sent out, that Newsom sent out. Well, here's the one that someone did in response to him. All right, and now for those of you who are listening, it's Newsom who's pushing the kid up. So instead of a ladder, he's pushing the kid up, touching what looks like he's touching his butt, but he's pushing him up to the bookshelf where you see porn. It says porn, smut, porn made easy, and he's lifting the kid up and he says, "Our secret, kid. Remember, don't tell your mom."
Yeah, right. How deceitful is that? We want you to, we're gonna give you kids the things that you should not be having. But myself, the governor is telling you to tell the parents and to tell the kids it's okay. So it's ludicrous. And you know what I want to do, Craig? I want to go there. I want to visit with Governor Newsom. I want to take him down to San Diego, and I want the monkeys to throw poo at him. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, there you go. They sent him down there. Well, but here's the thing, Mike. He's not really even interested in being governor anymore because, according to this one, as you can see, he's driven California off the road, and now he's out hitchhiking, and he's got his little placard there saying he's headed to the White House.
There you go. That's what it looks like. That's what he wants you to believe.
That is
Newsom
pretty.
will probably be the Democrat frontrunner. You know.
Yeah, tell me about it. That is exactly where he's headed. Okay, and with that, we're about to wrap it up. But before we do, we got to make sure to give that one more shout out to our sponsors.
There you go. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. If you got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, probably got one of their barrels, don't even know about it. Well, now you can buy from them direct. Just go to hitmanindustries.net. Get yourself AR barrels for your new build or to rebarrel your current rifle. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind enemy lines. Make sure you reach out and take part in California's future today. And, of course, if you want some awesome field gear, going to the woods gear, check out our good friends at uscombatgear.com.
Please take a moment, visit our sponsors, check them out, spend some money with them. Make sure you tell them the guys over at the Rundown sent you. And we're going to go ahead and call it a day. We're going to call it a shoe. But we will be back tomorrow on Thirsty Thursday. So y'all have a good evening, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Peace out.
Yeah.